So I'm recalling the case of James McDonough on page 16. Is it 16? Yeah.
13, Judge.
Page 13. Pardon me. Thank you. Just give me a moment to review this
Yes,
arrest
Your Honor.
affidavit. So I'm just reviewing this arrest affidavit, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So your argument is that there's no tampering,
Right, that's my first argument,
right?
as to the felony.
Okay. State.
And the allegations are that the defendant posted several messages, and based upon those messages, the officer felt intimidated because of the nature of the messages. The officer is a witness in a misdemeanor case against this defendant.
Judge,
I'm
sorry.
just really briefly, the AFOM says that the officer has severe concerns for the safety of his family and himself, and doesn't know the subject's intent or potential for violence or mental state. It says that the officer feels intimidated by the subject's words, as though he also does not want the officer to attend any court hearings or procedures in order for the charges to be dismissed.
Judge, if I need to be heard?
Yeah. Yes,
Look,
please.
the court needs to know something, just backing up a little bit. Dr. McDonough has been involved in litigation with the city of Homestead and officers over a number of years. He attends literally, if not figuratively, every council meeting and speaks at every council meeting. In July of this year, Dr. McDonough was escorted off by one of the police officers, was never told he was not allowed to return. In August, which is the subject of the other charge that he has, he came back to speak, was told to leave. There is a video of him leaving. He was arrested in the parking lot of City Hall. He doesn't care if anybody comes or doesn't come. He has a video of what happened, and he did not trespass after warning. He did not do any disorderly conduct. Additionally, the subjective feelings of a police officer or anybody is not sufficient to sustain a tampering with a witness charge. Thirdly, Judge, there is no evidence from this that my client is actually the one that posted it on the website.
Well, they said it was the same number as his phone number.
So Anybody can put a phone number on a public website. Judge, remember, this is a public website. That's my next argument. I don't know that you can harass somebody on a public website. This is something that anyone can post on and put any name on and put any phone number on. And therefore, there's no probable cause, A, to believe that he's even the one that did it. Two, that you can harass somebody on a public website. Third of all, what the court needs to know also is that there is nothing in this, any statement that was made by whoever posted this, that they ever asked this person not to come to court or to destroy any evidence. Whatever the police officer feels is completely irrelevant. There has to be some evidence that his feeling pertains to what this person said or did. So that's my argument as to the tampering.
Your Honor, just briefly in response, I'm looking at the arrest affidavit in the misdemeanor case, and it states that the defendant was press sworn, I believe in July, and he was arrested in August.
Right, Judge, except the city of Homestead, pursuant to a public records request, and I can produce those documents, indicated that there were no documents filed pertaining to Dr. McDonough going to that meeting. Additionally, Your Honor, he is a credentialed member of the press for that particular purpose. He goes as a reporter for a particular news website, and he speaks, A, on his own behalf, and covers it for the website. He writes articles part-time. That is not his job, just so you know, Your Honor. He does that freelancing and on his own time.
What is his job?
He works for the United States Patent Office, Your Honor. He is an employee. He has a PhD in chemistry. He has 2 children. He works a lot of hours. I can tell you that. I've represented him for a number of years. These charges are, if not bogus, ridiculous. There is a video of him leaving the city of Homestead City Hall, saying, when the officers said, "Will you please leave?" he said, "Yes, I'm leaving." What the court needs to know also, Your Honor, is Dr. McDonough has been involved in litigation that I have personally been involved in. Additionally, we have reported, and the representatives from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement sat in my office as we reported alleged crimes that the chief of police has committed, and that we believe committed, and the FDLE did an investigation into all of this. What I'm getting at, judges, the reason that the officer put that down was because they want Dr. McDonough in custody so that he doesn't come to the meetings and speak anymore.
Your Honor, I also
Probably be wise of him not to go there and speak.
Well, that may be wise, Judge, and he is not showing up. When he was asked to leave, he was leaving, and he is not going back to speak at those meetings.
Let's talk about the merits of this.
The defendant does have a prior arrest in 2013. Charges are aggravated stalking and threatening a public servant. It appears that the case was bound down to a misdemeanor. Trespass and stalking. He completed PTI, if I could finish.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I apologize.
The allegations in that case are that the defendant followed the victim, who was a police officer. So the victim in that previous case, also a police officer, to the police officer's house, blocked the victim's vehicle in the driveway in an aggressive manner, and complained that the victim gave his wife a ticket. So it does appear that the defendant has a history of targeting law enforcement and aggressive behavior.
Well, Judge, first of all, that is Officer McGuido, happens to be a neighbor of his. Just so you know, we went into the deferred prosecution program. Those charges were filed after Dr. McDonough went to the chief of police to complain about Officer
All right, you know
McGuido.
what? A lot of people get very upset over traffic tickets. It's a shame, but you go to court and you deal with it.
No, and we did. And the state agreed to a deferred prosecution,
Okay, fine.
so I don't know how they can use that against him at this point. The case was null pros, Your Honor.
All right, this is what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm entering a stay-away order from Officer John Monaco. Do not have any contact with him, either directly, in person, by telephone, or through third parties. No contact. You must stay away from his home and place of business. There's no contact with him through social media, through email, or through other electronic communication, and I'm handwriting that in.
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
As to count 1, I don't see tampering. Do I see stalking? Yes. I don't see tampering.
Judge, I didn't get a chance to
Oh,
say
well,
something.
you can tell me.
Yeah, on the stalking charge, Your Honor, the statute reads that you can't harass somebody. First of all, I don't think you can harass on a public website, putting that aside for the moment. It also has to be with no legitimate purpose. In other words, a person has a constitutional right to express themselves.
Right, under
It
the
can't be
First
for-
Amendment.
It can't be for, the state has to show why it's not for a legitimate purpose. What I'm telling the court is that there's a history between Dr. McDonough and the city of Hialeah.
All right, but that's not before me now. I have to look at the four corners of the arrest
Okay.
affidavit. And there was actually one statement in here that could actually be construed as tampering, but I think it more goes to stalking. Let me just get that one sentence. It says, where it says, also be warned, I have recording devices on me at all time, and any further retaliation will be dealt with swiftly, harshly, and lawfully.
Yeah, any further retaliation?
It says ball, but it should say ball is in your court, so what are you going to do, you friggin' coward? Also, I'll be blasting your address, so thanks for providing that.
And I believe it is against.
I don't think
the
that's
law.
tampering, but I think it's stalking.
No, Your Honor. By the way, there is a federal district court case, that it is unconstitutional to prohibit someone from putting the police officer's name on a website
No,
or
he's
broadcasting it.
Right, but the fact is the repeated contact towards this officer could be viewed as stalking, and I believe there is probable cause for the stalking charge. Sir, you're ordered to stay away from this officer. You know, you may not like the way the government runs. Why don't you run for an office and try and change it, or run for city council and try and change it that way? The officer's trying to do his job. I know you may not agree, but you need to leave him alone. Otherwise, you'll be back here with other things. And if you're telling me your lawyer said you got children, I think it'd be more important to spend time with your children than bothering this officer. So count one is an ROR, count two is $1,000. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Your Honor.